All right, welcome everyone. Today I want you to put on your investigator hats with me. We're not here to talk about ghost stories or alien abductions. We're here to analyze the cold, hard evidence from some of aviation's most fascinating unsolved cases. The final radio transmissions from planes that vanished in the Bermuda Triangle. Let's get right into it. Just listen to that. That's the kind of primary source material we're dealing with today. It's stark, it's chilling, and it's totally ripped from its context. These are the last known words from a cockpit. Our job is to try and piece together what was happening in those final moments, using only the facts we have on record.
So here's our flight plan for this analysis. First, we're going to define the area we're actually talking about. Then we'll dig into the evidence from three absolutely crucial cases: Flight 19, the Star Tiger, and a DC-3 passenger plane. And finally, we'll step back and analyze what these final words could possibly tell us.
Okay, first things first, before we get into the cases, let's get our bearings and establish the geography here. We're focusing on a very real and very busy part of the world. So this isn't some mythical spot on a fantasy map. The Bermuda Triangle is a massive, 500,000 square mile stretch of the Atlantic, and this is key. It's one of the most heavily traveled shipping and freight corridors on the planet. The sheer volume of traffic is important, but it's that unusually high number of planes and ships that have vanished without a single trace that brings us here.
And just to give you a sense of the scale, in the last 100 years, more than 20 aircraft have disappeared inside this region. And I don't mean they crashed and we found the wreckage. I mean they vanished, gone. No debris, no bodies, nothing.
All right, let's dive into our first case study. And this is the big one, the incident that really put the Bermuda Triangle on the map, the disappearance of Flight 19. So picture this, it's December 5th, 1945. 5 Navy bombers take off for what should have been a totally routine training flight. For the first hour and a half, everything is perfectly normal. But then, at 3:40 p.m., the control tower gets the first hint that something is very wrong. Over the next 2.5 hours, radio contact gets more and more broken, until it just stops. Now, that was the first worrying message from the flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor. This guy was a seasoned pilot. We're talking over 2,500 flight hours. For a pilot of his caliber to sound confused about his location, well, that was a huge red flag. But what he said next was what truly stumped everyone. This is where it gets really weird, right? The transmission goes from basic disorientation, we don't know which way is west, to something else entirely. Something deeply strange and subjective. What does it even mean for the ocean to not look as it should? It's this detail that investigators have been chewing on for decades. And this was it, the last clear message they ever got from Flight 19. We are entering white water. What a bizarre thing to say from the air. Was he seeing incredibly violent waves? Or describing some kind of strange fog or atmospheric event? We just don't know. After that, complete silence. And the story gets worse. A search plane sent to look for them also vanished that day. In total, 6 planes and 27 men were just gone. Okay, our next case couldn't be more different. With this one, the final transmission gives absolutely no sign of trouble. In fact, it's the exact opposite. So fast forward a few years to 1948. A British passenger plane, the Star Tiger, is on its way to Bermuda. The weather's good, the crew is top-notch. At 3:15 in the morning, the radio operator sends in a totally standard position update. Everything is by the book. And then, sometime after that message, the plane just blinked out of existence. I mean, really think about that message. Weather and performance, excellent. These are not the words of a crew that's in any kind of trouble. This sounds like a perfectly normal, boring flight moments before some kind of sudden, catastrophic event. And if that wasn't strange enough, get this. Almost 1 year to the day later, the Star Tiger's sister plane, the Star Ariel, disappeared in the same area after sending a nearly identical everything's fine message. 2 identical planes, a year apart, both gone without so much as a warning. All right, let's move on to our final case study in this one. This one might be the most chilling of them all, simply because the plane was so incredibly close to being safe on the ground. So it's December 28th, 1948. A DC-3 passenger plane is making its final approach into Miami. They are just 50 miles from the runway. That's a distance a modern jet can cover in just a few minutes. The pilot radios the tower, sounds totally confident, and then
nothing. The plane was never heard from again.
Let that sink in. We can see the lights of Miami. The pilot had a visual on his destination. All was well. And then somewhere in that last 50-mile stretch, something went terribly wrong. Something so fast and so complete that there was no time for a distress call, and not one piece of the plane was ever found.
So, we have the raw data from the cockpits. Now it's time to put on our analyst hats and really compare these final, crucial messages.
This table really lays it out. You've got 3 totally different states of mind right before disaster. With Flight 19, you have a crew that's clearly distressed, confused, and getting more so by the minute. But with the Start Tiger and the DC-3, you have crews that are calm, confident, and reporting that everything is perfectly fine. And this brings us right to the heart of the mystery, doesn't it? How can a perfectly routine report and a sudden, catastrophic failure happen at the same time? The evidence from the Star Tiger and the DC-3 suggests that whatever happened, it wasn't a slow mechanical failure or worsening weather. It points to something that was instant and absolute, something that gave them zero time to even hit the panic button. Now, investigators have put forward a bunch of theories. Could a huge bubble of methane gas erupt from the ocean floor and just swallow a plane? What about a sudden magnetic anomaly that sends all the instruments haywire, which might explain some of Flight 19's confusion? Or was it just massive, unforeseen equipment failure? The problem is, none of these theories are proven, and not a single one fully explains the most baffling part, the total and complete lack of any wreckage.
And that's where we have to leave it. So I'll put the question to you. If you were the lead investigator looking at this evidence, which case file would you pull first? Would you focus on the one with the bizarre, unexplainable reports? Or would you start with the ones where everything seemed perfect, right up until the very end? The final words give us tantalizing clues, but they don't give us the answer. And that is a mystery that endures.